What is going on, guys? Welcome to the next installment of the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Bossing, and in this episode we are going to be checking out the very old RuneScape boss, the Kalphite Queen. Before we get into this episode, if you like seeing old school RuneScape bossing content and guides and other money making methods, remember to hit that subscribe button down below the video, or you can do it at the end of the video on the end screen. All of your support means a ton to me, and it gives me the motivation to keep putting out new and better videos. Alright, so the Kalphite Queen. The Kalphite Queen is a little different than other bosses because the Kalphite Queen actually has the ability to use overhead praise and will do so for the duration of the fight. So as usual, we will go ahead and get into a little bit of background information about the Kalphite Queen, mainly her combat levels and her combat stats. So I'm going to go ahead and put both up on the screen now. So as for her regular combat stats, she has a combat level of 333 with a hit points level of 255. Now the Kalphite Queen does have two forms, and her weakness in the first form is going to be crush attacks and magic, and her second form is going to be the Karis, which if you don't know what that is, it is a quest reward, but not many people use that here, so I will be showing you guys a different method. As for her attack style, she does use all three methods of the combat triangle, which are melee, ranged, and magic. As we move into her more specific combat stats, you can see here that they are both the same as far as attack strength and defense go, level 300. Magic is going to be level 150, and her ranged is going to be level 1. Now, in her first form, her defensive stats are going to be plus 50 to stab, plus 50 to slash, and plus 10 to crush. Plus 100 to both magic and ranged because she is going to be praying that, so she will have a higher defense for that. Over on the right side, you can see the combat stats, defensive stats from her second form, which are going to be slightly different. Plus 100 to stab, slash, and crush, and only plus 10 to mage and ranged. So as far as those combat stats go, it should be a dead giveaway as to what combat styles we are going to use on each form, but we will get into that a little bit later. But first, we are going to go ahead and discuss on how to actually get to the Kalphite Queen. Well, there's a couple different ways, and you can see on this first map here, over on the west side, you can see that there is a tunnel. When you go to the Kalphite Queen, if you do not have the Desert Elite Diaries done, you will have to take at least 2 ropes with you every single time you go. After you finish the Desert Elite Diaries, when you use a rope there, it will stay, so I am lucky enough to have those done. So my ropes are always there. Now the first way you can get there is going to be with the Glory Amulet, and the Glory Amulet will take you to Al-Kharid, and you can run south the Shantae Pass. Head through the Shantae Pass. You will need a Shantae Pass, again, if you don't have Desert Diaries done, and you will run to your west and crawl down that little hole over there with your rope. The second way is going to be with the fairy ring code BIQ, which will put you just southeast. You'll run a little bit north and then to the west, and you will find yourself at that hole. Now, once we get down into that Kalphite Queen hole, we will now be into the Kalphite Hive, and you can see here on the left there is the first level that you will be on, and you will have to run around this. The little blue arrow there is where you will start, and on the right side is going to be the lower level where the Kalphite Queen is at. So first thing is first. Once again, if you have the Desert Elite Diaries done, there is a small shortcut just to your east when you come in, which you will be able to take with an agility level of 86. Well, if you also have a Summer Pie, you can actually start taking this agility shortcut at level 81 agility, which will significantly reduce your trip times, and it will make you be able to do a lot more kills per hour. But if you do not have the Desert Elite Diaries done or the agility level to do this, you will need to follow the path all the way around, which you can see here, and it will lead you to the second hole, which is where you will use your second rope, and then you will descend into the Kalphite Queen's chamber. She's usually hanging out somewhere toward the western side of the chamber. Now, the Kalphite Queen is a pretty serious boss. Even for maxed combat mains, she can still be a little bit of trouble if you don't have some of that super best in slot gear. Now, as for her attack, she actually does have a special attack which she uses quite often, and this special attack always hits through all armor and defense and prayer. So that kind of means that you're sort of boned if you don't have at least decent gear and decent stats, which is why I do have some recommended stats for you, and I am positive that if you do have these stats, you will be able to get at least 1 kill a trip. First up is going to be an attack level of at least 85. You want to be hitting often here. The Kalphite Queen can be brutal, so you want to get these kills done as quick as possible. Next is going to be a strength level of at least 90. because you want your hits to be high once again to speed up those kills. As for defense, at least a level 80 defense, because she will be meleeing you in the first form, so you want to try to avoid those hits as much as possible. As for a ranged level, I suggest level 85. Once again, you want to hit quick and fast and get out of there as soon as possible. And last but not least, you're going to want to have at least a prayer level of level 70 for the piety prayer as well as the overheads. And if you have it, rigor would be very, very good here, but I know that is super expensive, so when worst comes to worst, Eagle Eye will do. And with those recommended stats being said, we can go ahead and jump into the gear setup. As for my gear setup and what I have equipped right now, we are going to be going with the full Varrox set because of that chance it has to hit through all protection prayers, armor, and defense bonuses. With the Kalphite Queen's defense level being 300, it is really going to help us out. Now, like I said, I'm trying to keep these cheap, so I tried to exclude the Bandos Godsword and the Dragon Warhammer from this. As far as everything else goes, I also have a Fire Cape and an Amulet of Glory, a Rada's Blessing, and an Explorer's Ring, which combined will give me +3 prayer, just to save a little bit on prayer. I'm also going to be using Barrow's Gloves and Dragon Boots, and all of this is a pretty decent setup for what you're going to be needing to keep it cheap. Over in the inventory, once again, keeping it pretty cheap, Black Dragonhide top and bottom, and Ava's Assembler. So for the Black Dragonhide top and bottom, if you have Blessed D'hide, I strongly encourage you to use that because that also comes along with a prayer bonus. As for the Assembler, if you have an Accumulator or a 99 Ranging Cape, that will also work. As for the Blowpipe, that is going to be the most expensive item in our setup. Can you get away with using a crossbow? Probably, but you're probably going to want to go with a Dragon crossbow, and that is a little bit more pricey than the Blowpipe. So I'm going to go with the Blowpipe. As for the rest of the inventory, I have a Antidote plus because you will get poisoned while you're down there, so you're going to want to be able to get rid of that. 1 Super Combat Potion, 1 Ranging Potion, 2 Prayer Potions. Now at 99 Prayer, I usually don't run out of prayer on a kill, but for the sake of setting up the inventory, we will go ahead and take 2 of them with me. I also have 3 anglerfish, 11 sharks, a summer pie because even I am not 86 agility quite yet, so I need to use the pie to get through that shortcut that I do have unlocked. I have a Draman staff because that is the fastest way to get there, and I have some house teleports to get out when my kill is done. Now, I usually don't do these for these kind of videos, but I want to express here that I am going to be doing a slightly more expensive setup. It's not incredibly expensive, but you will need a little bit more GP for this next setup. So first up over here, I'm going to be using a Thorax plate body and plate legs, which has pretty good defense levels, and I'm going to be using a Serpentine helm because it will prevent me from getting poisoned, and it gives a decent strength bonus. I will be going with the Fire Cape once again, the Rada's Blessing, and the Explorer's Ring, but in place of the Amulet of Glory, I will be using the Fury, which gives us a little bit better defense bonuses as well as +2 more to strength. And I will be going with the Abyssal Tentacle and the Dragon Defender here, and I'll explain why in just a second. Barrow's Gloves and Dragon Boots to round off this setup. Now, over in the inventory, you can see it's slightly different. In this inventory, I have went with the Blessed D'hide top and bottom, still have the Ava's Assembler and the Toxic Blowpipe. You'll notice my Antidote plus is missing, and that's because I have the Serpentine helm. Still have a Super Combat Potion, Ranging Potion, 2 Prayer Potions, 3 Anglerfish, 13 Sharks, my Summer Pie, Draman Staff, and some House Teleports, but you will see the addition of the Bandos Godsword, and I promise you that this will make your life a lot easier. I'm pretty sure that Varrox kill that I'm about to do is going to be pretty brutal, and if I had to go with a guess, this setup is going to be a lot easier. So if you can afford it and you want to solo the Kalphite Queen, I strongly suggest setup 2. Alright everybody, I think it is just about time for us to check out a kill clip so you can see that this can be done in the gear that I'm using. It is relatively cheap, like I said, aside from that blowpipe, and I promise you it can be done. Usually only get 1 kill a trip in this gear. I can maybe sometimes get 2 if I get really lucky with RNG, but we'll go for 1 here, so let's get going. Alright, so first thing is first, with the Kalphite Queen and soloing her, we're going to want to angler up before the fight. That'll put us at 121 HP, so we got a little bit extra to go there. We can go ahead and grab another one out of the bank. I'm going to go ahead and find a fairy ring, and I will see you guys at the Kalphite Queen. Alright, so here we are. I'm going to be using the agility shortcut here because I do have those desert diaries done, but even if you don't have it done, Well, I'm going to listen here. I can listen and hear there are no adventures inside the lair, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready right here. I'm going to drink a dose of my antidote, plus, and my super combat potion, hit my summer pie, and I'm going to go through this crevice, and I will be right here. Now, if I didn't have these diaries done, I wouldn't have ropes here, but I already do, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop those. Alright, I am back at the Kalphite Queen. Going to super combat potion again, protect from magic, preserve, and piety. And I've already got my anti-poison going, so I'm going to get over here and try to get me a Kalphite Queen kill. So pretty simple here. Pretty much just have to wail on her with the flail for a while. That is all you're going to be doing in this particular setup. Now, you can see I'm getting hit a lot. She does use that special attack very often, and these kills can be pretty rough, but I promise you it can be done in this gear. Like I said earlier, I usually only get 1 kill a trip like this. With better gear and better upgrades over time, you will definitely improve. So now that her first form is down, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my ranged gear, and I'm going to take a step back because we don't want to be in melee range from her. If we're in melee range, she's going to hit us with those melee attacks too, which are really kind of unavoidable in the first form. Don't forget to range pot like I just did. And we can also use our blowpipe special attacks for some extra healing here. And just hope that we hit with them. I hit one, didn't hit the other one. Oh wow, look at that level. Or not level. 1 in, what is that, like 1 in 256 or something? I got dragon chain body? Are you kidding me? Oh man, what are the odds right there, guys? So we're going to go ahead and get started with kill number 2, and this is going to be with a little bit more pricey gear. And if you do have this stuff, it will probably make your life a lot easier at the Kalphite Queen, as you can see from that last clip. Now that last clip was pretty brutal. Usually in that setup, I'm left with maybe 5 or 6 sharks. She used a lot of special attacks on me in that last clip, so let's hope that this one goes a little bit better. But we're going to go ahead and eat our summer pie. Go through here. And same thing. Get a super combat out here. Protect from magic, piety, preserve. Start running to our west. I'm going to go ahead and angle her up, get my BGS out, and get ready to special attack. Hit a 51 there. And again, hit a 60, so 111 defense levels for me just taken down there. So that should make my life a little bit easier. And even though her defense is a little bit higher with the hitting with the tent whip, it's still pretty beneficial to me that I hit those specs. If you don't hit specs like that, you might have a little bit of a rough time, but we can already see she's almost here. Her first form's almost dead, and look how much food I have left. So obviously you can see which setup is a little bit better. So Kalphite Queen is a lot easier with a little bit more of a pricey setup. But in this setup, you won't have those blowpipe specs for extra heals, but you probably won't end up needing them. And once again, she is being pretty brutal to me with those special attacks of hers. And I forgot to range pot again, but there we go. So from here, the defense reduction does carry over into her second form. You can see I'm hitting almost every hit, so that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and just finish up with this kill here. And there we go. Kalphite Queen is dead, and you can see how much stuff I have left over here. 8 sharks and 2 anglerfish. So if you do have the money for that little bit pricier setup, and it's going to go a lot better for you. Alright guys, that is going to do it for my solo Kalphite Queen beginner's guide. I hope that this guide can point you guys in the right direction to getting some Kalphite Queen kills under your belt. Maybe you're chasing that pet, maybe you need a dragon chain body, who knows. But if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up down below. They really help the video's popularity. I want to thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys on the next episode or whatever video that I plan on putting out. Take it easy, everybody.